Ladies and germs, welcome back to Cryptocurrency Investigation, where we have a look at various cryptocurrency projects and we ask ourselves, is this really going to be worth investing in? Today we'll be looking at Chronicle. If you like what I do on this channel, please consider liking and subscribing. And if you want to comment some delightful things, you are very welcome to as well. I do also invite comments where you can correct me in these videos. If let's say there's anything which you disagree with and you're like, man, this dude, he knows nothing, then please show me the facts, link me to the articles, link me to the information. I want to hear about it. If you are, let's say, somebody who's actually a part of this project, then you're also very welcome to comment as well and correct any information which I might have misrepresented in this. But if you just disagree with me and you don't like it and you're like, yo, you should quit, because you suck, please don't do that, because it doesn't really do anything for anybody. Because we're all about listening to facts and speaking truth about projects. Also, this is not to be considered as financial advice, so only take it for educational, inspirational, and entertainment purposes. XNL Chronicle. What is XNL Chronicle? Pretty much, from what I've seen of this, these guys are... They're just another NFT marketplace, dude. Like, almost every man and his dog is trying to do an NFT marketplace, being like, oh my gosh, look at these NFTs. But there is a reason why these guys came up on my radar, and it sort of tripped me out a little bit. Because I'm like, damn, why has this not got more hype? So, I'm not really going to read through a bunch of these, but we'll actually briefly have a look at some of the partners behind this. You guys might recognize some of these names. I'm not really going to read them out, but you're welcome to pause it, just have a look. And so they've got some of the team and everything on their main page, which we'll be having a look at them soon. And here is the interesting things. We are in great company. Our team have experience working in some of the world's leading brands, Universal, NBC Universal, Amblin Entertainment, if you guys recognize that from movies and films. So they've got some pretty big names. You know, sometimes when it comes to the industry, it's not what you know, it's who you know. Now let's have a look at some basics. The price when it initially launched, it looked like it went from 142 all the way down to about 0.19. Now why is that so low? Not entirely sure. Let's have a look at some of the exchanges which it's currently on. It's currently on SushiSwap, PancakeSwap, Gate.io, and KuCoin. KuCoin and Gate.io, I do have links in my description. If you did want to sign up to them, you know, you can get some sort of bonus thing. I'm not sure, to be honest. Haven't looked at it for a while. Yeah, but anyway, so you can do that sort of jazz. We currently have a market cap of 5 million. That is tiny. That is a very, very small market cap. Hey, we got a circulating supply. So this current rank is 1,252. The max supply is 100 million. And the circulating supply is 19 million. Now that is interesting how they managed to sort of find that out. And so they actually verified this. So the CoinMarketCap team has verified the project circulating supply to be as follows. So very nifty, very cool. We're currently sitting at a price at about 0.26. Cool. Great. Let's have a look at some of these things. Now, here is something, and this is what is bugging me. The last few projects I have been doing, they don't have little smart contract icons next to their names with their wallets. These guys do. Contract, right? Cool, good, grand, great. But then, you know, you've got some of these other big boys up here, and, you know, they talk about, so one of these tabs is actually their white paper. So they actually do talk about how, you know, there is a vesting schedule and how it's locked. But the fact that, you know, when I have a look on either scan, and I have a look at these, and I can't, there's nothing about this which says to me that this is actually locked. Like, there is nothing which says this is in I don't know, like this can't be moved. This is returns true if the contract is paused and false, otherwise false. Bull. Okay, so we can't really, there's nothing to me which says that this is locked, which means that these coins could be pulled out and we could have a rug pull on our hands, ladies and gentlemen. But there are some reasons for why I think that may not be the case, and we will be having a look through some of that jazz, and whether or not I actually am going to invest in this. So, what does BSC check tell us? It says seems scam. Is this always right? No. But it's a good place to find out some facts about it. So, burn token 0%, total supply 100 mil, holders, all that jazz. Now this here, both Token Sniffer and BSC check say that you cannot sell this token. Now, here is what is confusing. KuCoin, I believe you pretty much have to be able to buy / sell a token if it's on KuCoin, right? So we can briefly have a look at the actual market when it comes to KuCoin to find this jazz out. So as you can see, it has been being bought and it has been sold as well. And so as you can see, these ones on the right hand side, so red meaning sell, green meaning bought. So as you can see with these stats right here, that it has been bought and sold. So that's what I'm a little bit confused about, and I'm wondering what BSC check and what token sniffer are actually pulling off in order for these to be the case. So actually, I might even go message their team after this and actually ask them, because that could be a good time. Yeah, remind me to do it, guys, if I haven't done it. Anyway, so let's have a look at some of the other deeds. Ownership not renounced, so currently have 4.83%. And dev tokens is 10%. So I mean, these aren't like hugely bad, to be honest. Like, I mean, like, to have a dev token at like 10%, that doesn't scare me, dude. Like, that is not scary. Now, if, let's say, it was the only wallet which had above 10% and everybody else was chilling in these 0.1s, that's where it starts to get a bit concerning. But yeah, so that doesn't worry me too much personally. Detected addresses. So these are talking about the actual top holders, and as you can see, these are not locked. So they are not locked addresses, once again concerning. Let's have a... Oh, but also, here is an interesting note. Notice that when it says warning detected addresses, notice that it doesn't mention the KuCoin one. The KuCoin one is actually... so they have one which is 9.1%. And it doesn't actually mention that. Isn't that fascinating? Because it is one of the top 5, but it doesn't say that. It just jumps straight from the 10 all the way down to the 4.8250. So that's fascinating, eh? Maybe they've sort of found a way to be able to, I guess, take it out. Anyway, so token is sellable. By the way, sorry, just to explain this this wallet right here, this should be full liquidity, by the way, in case people are interested. This is so that's not like somebody. I don't think anybody can necessarily pull this out of circulation or whatever. I don't think people can do that, but it's possible. I mean, I guess to some extent. So let's have a look at token sniffer. So same thing, token is sellable, which it is not. So it is possibly a honeypot. So it says source. So this contains a pausable contract, meaning that they could pause all transactions and boom, they could go and liquidate or pull out the little plug from the liquidity pool, and then there goes your $300. So also owner not renounced. See, this part doesn't really scare me too much, to be honest. So yeah, check with the team project for such information. So yeah, that's not really that scary to me. Owner wallet contains less than 5%. That's interesting. 4.82%. So that's actually the dev wallet, which we would have seen right here. So that is that wallet there. In case you guys are interested. Burn / lock. We don't have. Oh, sorry, that was a bit loud. So burn / locked. We've only got less than 0.01%, which is very tiny, very tiny. And so it says adequate liquidity present, but it's kind of weird how they haven't really taken into account KuCoin, or maybe even Gate.io, because we might actually have a few extras on there as well. So we'll try to copy and paste the actual contract into Unicrypt, and it doesn't show up. So I try to find it on PancakeSwap v2, and yeah, it doesn't say anything. So that Explorer is out of sync. That's fine. So I don't know what's going on with that, folks. But when you actually type in, so let's say, so if we go to token, then we type in XNL itself, we can, oops, sorry, I beg your pardon. We have a look at it itself. We can see that there are a few XNL tokens, but keep in mind that these may not actually be what you were looking for. So please do not rely on just typing down and hunting things like this, because you, my dearest, have the possibility of being pulled under for a rug pull. But this one here, so this is via chainport.io. says that it's currently at 0.23, and I mean, as we can see from here, it says 0.26, but remember, these could be pulling from different places, and the price can be quite volatile at this sort of time. So there is no liquidity locked, which, as we know, that this is a part of what this says as well, but I wouldn't suggest, if you did want to purchase this coin, I don't suggest purchasing it from PancakeSwap, because we already have things like KuCoin and Gate.io. Remember, KuCoin is fantastic. Coin Bureau has done a video on it comparing KuCoin to Binance. I recommend checking it out. Coin Bureau is very good. If you want another trusted source, Coin Bureau is fabulous. All right, so they don't have a Reddit, or they do. Sorry, they do have a Reddit. Created January 11th. 2 members and 4 online. How does that make sense? Don't ask me. So yeah. So they must have like a few people being like, hey guys, let's go. So there's one dude, cool. So that's fine. Let's have a look at some of the Twitter stats. So Twitter stats, we've been a bit up and down. We're currently sitting at about 14,000 followers in terms of the Twitter stats, and we've had 200 in the last 30 days. So not huge, not big. Doesn't sound like there's sort of been any crazy big news in terms of this sort of jazz. They might list some sort of news down here. NFT sale on Chronicle and Naomi. Okay, so nifty news. AMC investors get tokens. Okay, to represent World of Woman. Nice. Cool. So we move on from that. So here's something very interesting. So Animal Planet has actually gone and retweeted these little NFTs here, which that is fascinating. That is such a big company, dude. Yeah, so these NFTs are kind of cute-ish, I guess. I think this is maybe like a doggy show or something. I don't even know what this is, dude, but you guys might know. Puppy Bowl. Not familiar with it. Pretty much there's not really any sort of scam or bot comments. So these followers, I believe, are genuinely authentic followers, because there isn't really like anything about bot things. Which also I found out, some random bot account like retweeted one of my tweets. How random is that? Anyway, so yeah. For the past 12 months, this is the Google Trends, the XNL search. Now, I did see if XNL stood for anything else. Apparently, it might be something like super small on like the Yahoo Finance markets, but other than that, it doesn't really mean anything else. So in the past 12 months, we've had a few hundreds, so September and October, which if we have a look at that on here, we can see that September had that release, hey-o. And then we had another one in late November, which is quite interesting for we haven't seen more searches for that. But there could have been some other things which might have caused the price to have gone so high for that moment, right? Yeah, so, and they've also had another thing recently as well. And we'll move on from that. So we'll have a look at the white paper. So pause the video if you want to have a look at these. Because I'm not going to go through all this, but this talks about the Chronicle ecosystem and how it essentially works. Cool. Next step, we're going to have a look at so this is the actual tokenomics. So they have a seed round, private round, public round. I'm not going to read all these, because as I say, I'm trying to make these videos shorter, but you can pause the video and have a read through some of this jazz. Yeah, so it says, so they talk about the actual unlocking schedule. So TGE, by the way, is token generation event, I think is what TGE stands for. It's essentially when the token becomes, I guess, like open to the market, right? So you've got the seed round, private round, public round, and then everything else. So one thing which is attractive about this project is the fact that the team and advisors has less than 30%, which is good. But dev wallets could possibly come under maybe the seed round and private round if, yeah. So these extra wallets would make sense because, as you can see, so the 15 million, 20 million, 5 million, 15, 10, and then we jump into the either scan, we can see 15 million, 50 million, 10 million. Don't know where that 20 million is. Don't know where that is. That's nowhere to be seen. But that possibly might come under one of these other sort of wallets here. So, 2.4, 2.5, 4, and then 4.825, which that was actually the dev wallet, which we were talking about as well. So, yeah. And so the price originally, for the seed round, you could have gotten it for 0.075, which if you went to the all-time high, you could have sold it for a delicious price of 1.45. But if you were to sell it now, you would have maybe gone like a little X, possibly like a small X amount. Yeah, smaller, sorry. And then so they talk about other things in regards to escrow and everything. So yeah, if anybody can find out, because I still have no idea how the heck these guys end up locking their wallets or how they end up doing the vesting. Because usually there'll be sort of a little smart contract icon which I mentioned. As you guys can see here, there's little bit of paper next to this one and that one. So yeah, so if anybody has any explanation for this, I did ask on the Discord community. Nobody answered me. I was like, all right, rest in peace, brother. Yeah, so cool. So we've had a look at that sort of jazz. They do talk about some of the other token utilities, which I mean is like the other standard, NFT things like buy, sell, and do the little bits in between, so you guys can do your own research when it comes to that. The roadmap. We've had a few things regarding the roadmap. So launch product beta on iOS and Android. So they do actually have an Android app, and you can do it on PC and I believe possibly iPhone now as well, considering that was Q3 of 2021. And so they talk about other things. And so for Q1 of 2022, it currently says Chronicle Platform 2.0. But if you actually have a look on their website, their actual website doesn't say anything after Q3 of 2021, which I think they should probably add a little bit more stuff to this, man, instead of saying infinite loop, additional partnerships and collaborations. Which, I mean, I think it is good for what they're trying to do, especially with this Puppy Bowl thing. I mean, if we're going to say this is an Animal Planet thing, dude, I mean, Animal Planet's massive. Jungle is massive. So, yeah. I don't know. I think that these NFTs can be a little bit cool. So you can do it by categories as well. They currently have no games. And so yeah, they don't have a whole lot of NFTs going on, but to be honest, the ones which like I've kind of seen, I mean, look at that, man. Sorry, I'm gonna like mute that. That is loud as nuts. Yeah. So anyway, so that's sort of got like that sort of thing, and I don't know. I think it's kind of cool to be honest, owning like a moving piece of art. Yeah. So that's a little bit of that jazz. So this is the marketplace which you can buy them on and sell them and all that jazz. So when it comes to that sort of thing, whoops, that's the Chronicle thing. We have a look at some of the team as well. Now here is some reasons for why I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I should be looking into these guys. Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Chaos Theorem, Thorchain. We have Universal, Jubilee, NBC Universal, Game Guardian, Fidelity. You guys know Fidelity? My gosh, I like IBM. Like we have a bunch of big names here, dude. We have a bunch of big names behind this team. Now, now I did have a look at their LinkedIn's, and we can find a little bit more out. So head of brand, so Sword.earth, Chaos Theorem, and he was also the franchise consultant. So when I see something like franchise consultant, to me that's quite attractive, to be honest, because we know that this fellow has had experience when it comes to the actual sort of world of, I mean, I guess marketing or that sort of thing. So that's cool. So creative director and franchise consultant. So we know that Timothy has had experience within that, which is awesome. Yeah, so he's done that thing. And what else can we find out? So Doug Neal, he was a lecturer for UCLA, and he also worked for Universal Pictures, and he's actually been there for 14 years. And then he's decided to move on, which I believe he's decided to move on into the Chronicle marketplace as the Chief Marketing and Brand Officer. So these guys, you guys should know Universal. If you don't know Universal, look them up because they are big. Yeah, so this guy was also with Thorchain and JRR Crypto. Man, I've heard of that. Yeah, so these guys are people who they at least know their things well enough to be able to create a decent brand, a decent franchise, a decent marketplace, and all that sort of jazz. So good on them, man. And I mean, as I say, we have got a whole bunch of other names here as well, which actually to me is very attractive. It's a very attractive prospect, man. Yeah, and then this is something which I thought was quite cool as well. So they had a live AMA on their channel with the CFO of Nair Protocol, and then so this is Tim Glover, one of the co-founders, Jim Jin, who we also had a look at his LinkedIn profile as well, and this fellow here is the CFO of the Nair Protocol. And if you know me, I love the Nair Protocol. I think it's such an underrated thing. So now we get down to brass tacks. Should you invest in this? I would say, unless we can get answers for how the heck these end up being locked, I would say no personally. But if you want to, you can. If you like NFTs, invest into this. If you believe in the brand, in the universal thing, invest into this. Do it. Jump on board, man. But for myself, I am not going to invest for myself because personally, I feel like when it actually comes to the rest of the market, I think that when it comes to the rest of the market, I mean, almost every man and his dog is trying to do an NFT marketplace now, dude. But the fact that these guys do have these big names under their belt is impressive. That is impressive. Like, that is very, very, very impressive. And I think especially having a guy like Doug Neal on your team, I mean, senior entertainment executive with over 10 years experience in digital marketing for Universal Pictures, that's massive. That is huge. I don't know why this dude's name isn't here, but Tim Glover and Jim Jin were the two guys who seem to have come up with this idea, right? So yeah, good on them. And they hired a guy who seemingly has got a really good background in this sort of jazz. So community interaction does feel a little bit lacking in that sort of essence. The Discord community, as I say, they didn't really respond to my things, but that's okay. And the market cap is also incredibly low right now, so $5 million market cap. So that is good and bad. It is good if you jump in right now. If you jump in right now, your chances of getting a lot higher are going to be greatly increased. However, but also bear in mind, so if we have a look at the last 3 months, actually let's have a look at the last month. Okay, so they've actually gone higher than this as well. So because other things are down as well, if you are to invest in this, chances are that this will probably have maybe like a minimum of something like 0.45, especially because of the actual project itself. That's sort of my thinking. I am a little bit sort of concerned as to where some of these other things come from, but yeah. I think if you do want to buy it now, dude, because the market's probably just going to keep going up from here. Although I haven't watched Coin Bureau's latest video about where he's talking about the crypto winter, which I think is implying that we're currently in that right now, which I'm a little bit interested in, let's say. Anyway, so that's pretty much everything. If you guys like what I did on this video, please consider joining my Patreon, but also please like and subscribe. And if there is anything which I've said in the video which maybe you disagree with, you are very welcome to maybe comment for why you think I'm wrong, for instance. But yeah, please be generous in the comment. Please be kind in the comments. Because really wanting to create a healthy community where we can where we base ourselves on the truth from the facts which we know and which we can understand. So anyway, guys, have a wonderful rest of your day.